Man, he's happy that he's gone, and we're happy that he's gone as well.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Locked On UCLA podcast. I'm your host, Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer. Thanks for making this show your first listen each every day. It's free wherever you get your podcast, and it's available on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, review. Thanks for your support. This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Every potential new hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs feels like it's the right people for your team. You can do that. You get hire people faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. Maybe you're wondering what took me so long to post an episode. Well, my latest individual personal drama, and we'll give you a quick insight and then get right to the content, is I am the latest of, you can go look at car thefts. My car got jacked. So if you're wondering, I've been all over the place, just everywhere mentally, who knows? And the car got stolen. It was found, but now I'm dealing with all that nonsense. So if you're wondering where I've been going mentally, where the shows have been, I have just been dealing with my car getting jacked and all the workarounds around that. So it's been a little bit much, but we're back because it's time to get mad in March. But speaking of mad, this dude ain't mad. His name is Chip Kelly, and he put out some comments earlier in the week about, hey, here I am, live happy. I don't know how the song goes because I'm Chip Kelly in Columbus. I don't know. He was talking about like, hey, I'm happy. I love my life. I had to coach quarterbacks in a bowl game. And then all of a sudden, I want to be an offensive coordinator. I want to leave UCLA. Or Ben Bolch, if you read the LA Times article, a scathing review of the Chip Kelly era, and said he was quiet quitting the whole time. It took me a while to take off the blinders before I kind of realized this isn't really working well. And he left. He dipped. Chip dipped. And we're so happy that he's gone. I mean, I finally jumped on the bandwagon, and just about every other big-time UCLA supporter, follower, reporter, for the most part, finally did so in November after the Arizona State game. But then it took so long for the Bruins to make it happen that when Chip left, was it going to happen? Now we're happy, right? Because you get DeShaun Foster, youth infusion, passionate about UCLA, regardless of how his career ended as a Bruin, brings in an NFL vibe. You bring in Eric Bieniemy. That's a home run hire as your offensive coordinator. They already had to replace the D coordinator. Unfortunately, he didn't get to do so. It's like the president replacing a Supreme Court justice. And unfortunately, the Bruins are not going to replace a Kike Malloy, right? They're going to go in and say, hey, we're just going to leave you there. But there's been a lot of coaching changes from Darren Usher leaving. He's not even a coach. General manager. You had different coaches going in and out. Director of player personnel. The booms are gone from Ethan Young. It's an NFL vibe. There's been stuff from Bro Report, 24/7 Sports, all sorts of things coming in about the different intentional hires from DeShaun Foster, who Eric Bieniemy wants underneath him on an offensive staff, what they want overall, and they're bringing an NFL vibe to it. Remember, the way college football is going, college sports in general, right, with NIL and everything, and with Dartmouth unionizing, right, their basketball players, it's turning into almost a professional feel. So in order to really get a good feel when you're moving to the Big Ten, making a pro-like move, switching divisions or however it works, you've got a program that was scuffling. And I know you could have looked at ESPN last night and listened to the broadcast of the UCLA-Arizona game, which we'll touch on again later, and heard them talking about UCLA's lack of NIL money, which has hurt Mick Cronin. Chip Kelly didn't want to go after that. But you've already seen DeShaun Foster go out, try and get the garb on, get the cool stuff on with Mena Westwood, talking with them, make it happen. But to really maybe progress college football in this day and age until the NCAA loses control completely, which they're well on their way, or two, they are on their way to, most importantly, they can't really guide the NIL. It's turning into a professional field. So the best way to maybe do that is mimic an NFL model with coaching and everything. Yes, you've got to recruit. You've got to go bring in all this energy to bring in players, continue to make sure that they're happy and want to stay there, which is what you got to do. Make sure a guy's happy and wants to stay on your team. And if he wants to go leave, that's how a professional roster goes. That's how the NFL goes. You get cut, a guy wants to bounce, he gets a better opportunity. That's how it is. That's how it's progressing and pretty much will be, barring some change with expanded playoffs, with NIL budgets, with everything in between on the TV dollars, players being considered employees pretty soon, it seems like, in the college sports world. So the way everything's going, DeShaun Foster's making his moves, And the way the staff's turned out, you look at 24/7 Sports, I've been reading, and with Bro Report, you talk about the coaching staffs being shuffled around. You got Jerry Neuheisel going from the receivers coach to the tight ends coach, who will be replacing Eric Frazier's coming in. You've got Marcus Thomas, a new running backs coach. So you got like 3 running backs coaches on the team, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and then you got a real running backs coach right there. So you got the running backs who you think will be a strength of this team. They should know how to run the football. Then you've got Scott White, a former Bruin coach, coming in as an analyst. You got the replacement for Darren Usher, who already replaced somebody and everything in tenfold. That is what is going on. So many different things. And that was from Bro Report, 27/7 Sports with Matt Zenitz and everything. And there's some coaches I've just left out for the purpose of bringing up. They're going with an NFL feel, but they're going back to an old school like recruiting strategy because Greg Biggins out there tweeted, I don't really know what he talked. I don't really know how to say it. The best way to say is he tweeted that UCLA probably put out their most high school offers in the last 3 or 4 years in one day. This is what Greg Biggins said, at Greg Biggins, the national recruiting analyst for 24/7 Sports. UCLA probably offered officially more local underclass players today than the last 3 to 4 years combined, including what was the latest that was retweeted, Jonas Smith, among many players who are being offered left and right. They're tired of this transfer portal game. You've got to win it. You've got to maximize your portal. You've got to maximize talent development, all right? Some strengths and weaknesses of Chip Kelly. But you know what's going to be even better? When you can develop talent that's already freaking talented, right? Why have to go from a 0-star to a 5-star every time? You've got to have a chip on your shoulder. You want to work hard. But it's nice to go get somebody who's talented and ready to play at this level when they're going to go into Big Ten football, which is arguably very tough or very weak or a mixture, top-heavy, whatever you want to debate about it. But it's going to be intense to move, to go play in the cold, play some bigger-name teams, play in front of raucous environments, play in the Rose Bowl and bring some energy back. And you're already seeing that. NFL vibe in the coaching staff, home run swings for the first couple of hires. A lot more emphasis on NIL and collaborating. We've seen Mick Cronin do his best, but the football side of things finally collaborating together with the men of Westwood. And then Greg Biggins himself saying, sometimes there's hints of sarcasm. There probably is in there too. The last 3 to 4 years, you haven't seen this much action. Man, look at that. Offer left and right. If you're looking to see a UCLA kid that was offered today and you're like, you sure that was an offer today? Yeah, they're throwing them out left and right to bring in the energy and bring it up, bring in the youth infusion. Clearly a 180. So are we happy that Chip Kelly's happy? Sure, we all want people to be happy. Can we boo him when he comes to UCLA? 100%. But to say DeShaun Foster doesn't have a chance, I don't know. He's making some moves. He's putting them in the right direction. Even if the DeShaun Foster era fails in terms of wins and losses, which is only how it'll be measured initially, just the fact that they're flipping the script. If the X's and O's don't work, it doesn't matter. Flipping the script and pushing them forward into the future, which we thought might be the case with the Big Ten and everything, but pushing them forward into turning into a program to a miniature professional franchise, which they're not even there yet, but they're building slowly. Going back to offering kids in their own freaking backyard as opposed to getting 3-star transfer, whatever. You got to go get those guys too, the hidden diamonds in the rough and everything. But you got to get the guys in your backyard because California's freaking talented. Guys on the West Coast are good. Even go to Texas and Florida. Make it a national game too. But the guys in this state, in their own backyard, are pretty good, and they're going elsewhere. And UCLA's got to go be able to get some talented players. UCLA's got to go get them and beat USC and beat all these other Big Ten schools. Get in the recruiting game, not be 50th. That is what they're doing, and it's looking good. We're happy now. Chip dipped. We got a new chip to dip. And we're not talking about Chip Kelly. We're talking to DeShaun Foster making his name known for himself. So pack out the Rose Bowl. And, hey, we'll go over more offers and everything. But clearly, in the last few weeks, things have been churning. And we're here to talk about it on Locked On UCLA. Next, the late season slide. Let's go over it again for men's basketball. After the latest loss against Arizona, they got ASU, Pac-12 tournament. Let's assess what's next for UCLA men's hoops. Hey, I got to tell you about Fire TV because it's the destination for sports, live games, the highlights, the in-depth analysis, Fire TV can offer amazing viewing experiences with the smart TVs because they're all smart nowadays. And I might not be smart, but my TV is smart, as well as the Fire TV stick. If you don't got one, hey, go check that out because you can plug it into existing TV. Your existing TV, it's existing. This is the day and age we live in, to provide access to millions with an M of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live television. Whether you're in opening weekend, baseball's around the corner, whether they're going to Korea or you're ready for real opening day for your team in your own backyard, college basketball tournament, everything. You want to have Fire TV because they've recently created Fire TV channels. That's Fire in its own right, and it delivers a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, including Locked On right here, pro leagues, college conferences as well. It lets you dive into game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date with March Madness, NBA, and all that. Check it out to learn more at amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV, amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. All right, second segment of the Locked On UCLA podcast. Zach with you guys once again. Looking for a car. We can't be counting to 10. Let's get ready to begin. Because UCLA men's hoops, they're going to be looking for some new cars, looking some new ways to rev the engines, looking for new players, new ways to get players to fit into roles in 24 to 25 when they are no longer a Pac-12 conference member, but a Big Ten member, which could be better, beneficial, or worse for the Bruins, and only time will tell if the NIL budget gets better, which is what Dave Pasch and Richard Jefferson were bickering about during the broadcast at the end when the Bruins are getting wiped across the floor by the Pac-12 champs Arizona. As unfortunately as it is to say, the Bruins have to get better to shoot the ball, late game scenarios. They need more help, whether there's been injuries, a little banged up to Sebastian Mack, to the likes of Lazar Stefanovic, which Mick Cronin's alluded to, maybe to retaining talent and developing talent, and getting guys in their own backyard because they've got Freeney so far as the official signee this year, and then unofficial, I mean, I guess it's an official commit, but you've got a walk-on in Robert Horry's kid, right? So you don't have a lot coming in. There's a lot of emphasis this year on development in the offseason. And then for Cronin, can he go swing and hit a home run in the portal? I think Stefanovic was good. It worked well. But you need like an all-star. You need someone who's challenging for the Wooden Award, an all-American-like type player. Arizona went and got Caleb Love. The Bruins got to go get somebody. They got to go find their Johnny Juzang, who's making late-game buckets, leading them to the Final Four, and is one bogus charge call away from making it to the national championship game and competing for a championship like they were 3 years ago, making it to Sweet 16s. Where this year, yes, you're going to have down years. In today's day and age, you can't have a down year. It's a down year or two development. Yes, this is a down year. And unfortunately, as much as I wanted to hope it would not be the case, it was a down year. Where do they go from here? After shellacking at the hands of Arizona, one, turn the page. Go beat Arizona State. The season truly flipped the first time when they beat ASU. And if they can get a little semblance of confidence heading into Vegas, then they can shock the world. This is a team that is absolutely capable of doing the stupid, ridiculous, unthinkable and winning 5 games. Well, 4 games, but you'd like them to be ASU. 4 games and make themselves a Pac-12 tournament champ, which is an automatic bid in the NCAA tournament. That can absolutely happen. Likely, probably not, because the consistency from this team offensively and now defensively has just not been their last 2.5 weeks. All right? So it's not likely, but the team is, I think, talented enough, capable enough, Cronin coached up enough to maybe do so when they're playing teams most likely for the 3rd time, sometimes the 2nd time in a neutral environment. When the season is on the line, it's the last Pac-12 tournament. Last time these Pac-12 schools get together. The football game, pageantry, it's done on a Saturday. This time, last time most of these schools will ever come together to play a game on purpose for quite some time, unless it's UCLA, Arizona. So this is a team that, with the mojo against them, went from competing for 2nd, maybe 1st, to just falling way down, and now they're under 500 in conference play, 5 losses in a row, and there's still a chance they can make the tournament. Anybody has a chance to make the tournament, generally, unless you're eliminated from your conference tournament. Win out, and keep going. So the Bruins have that capability in them. But the emphasis is on for UCLA shooting. Some bigs that can back up either a dumb Bona or to replace Bona, because if he decides to go pro, and UCLA needs better wings. I don't know if it's Cronin needing to use a lot of Feeble more, if it's, right, because there's a lot of times this year where he just didn't use them, whether it's Sebastian Mack getting more consistent, Dylan Andrews an improved three-point shot, more confidence, and a growth from Will McClendon, who I think lived up to what Mick Cronin said. He would surprise a lot of people, and Will McClendon has. Stefanovic becoming more accurate and even bigger leader, and all of a sudden shooting 45% from three, and then it's a completely different ball game. UCLA needs to shoot better and have consistent, solid 5 defenders on the floor at all time, at all costs. That's what they're looking for in development from this year's players into next. Retaining a Dembona, I think, is one of the biggest keys for next season. I'm not really sure where his head lies, how much his stock has risen, fallen, or stayed the same this year. He's clearly, in my mind, an NBA player, but a different type of NBA player that's not going to be a starter, a 6'8", 6'9", 6'11 guy, depending on what range you want to use with his shoe size or official measurement. He's going to play in the league. He's super athletic. He's going to block shots. He's big time. Does he go now? Is there an NIL budget that keeps him to stay? Does he want to rise his stock even more? Well, where does that go? Because he's healthy. There's no reason for him to stay because he's healthy. But if he stays, UCLA would love it. You get some continuity in the backcourt. You hit a home run with the big-time hit for a small forward, maybe added a power forward, or someone jumps in, Berke makes a leap, Adai makes a leap. Because none of these guys who have come in and dominated to the point where they're going to go pro next year in the NBA. Maybe someone takes a flyer and gives them a rookie contract if one of the Bruins wants to leave. But nobody's done that. So the hope is development, no injuries, no late season, right before the season starts, eligibility concerns. And this team, I think, could develop. They just need absolutely to get some shooting, consistent shooting. Man, it was brutal to see how that game finished out against Arizona. But hopefully this team has heart. They showed against ASU. Cronin doesn't sit down and be quiet. And they put up a fight in the next 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 games. 6 games if we're even lucky to get there. Right? I'm not sure I want to see this team in NIT. It's either a miracle run in Vegas or let Cronin go hit the portal. Because what did he say? I'm not sure if I want to play in the NIT. There's more context to that quote, but he wants to go hit the portal and be in guys' ears from the jump to make next year's team unbeatable, as opposed to waiting and seeing how it plays. No, make next year's team unbeatable while this team shows some heart. That's what's next for this year's team into next year as they become a Big Ten member. Against teams who, Purdue, right? I think Edey's probably, you can guard Edey, right? Or the next iteration of Edey, because Purdue's going to get their next big 7-footer. It's just the most dominant has been Zach Edey. So they're going to get their next, whatever it may be for Purdue, however it plays. I just don't have that off the top of my head as eligibility or COVID eligibility. Doesn't matter. Guys are going to develop. They're going to stay. They're going to leave. The Bruins need to get better to compete with the top of the Big Ten. And they should be there, but I think they will. But you know who's already there in the top of the Big Pac-12? It's the UCLA women, who are dominant, beat Utah, won that season series, and now we're playing USC. The winner, I think, guaranteed a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. The winner, guaranteed 1 seed. Even if they lose to Stanford in the tournament final, as long as they don't lose by 50, guaranteed 1 seed. Absolutely. We'll talk about that next on Locked On UCLA. So when you're hiring for a small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs, because they help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Because it's not just another job board. They've got a vast network of more than 1 billion with a B professionals that makes it the best place to hire. Gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else, and it does it while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring's easy when you got many quality candidates. And hey, LinkedIn knows all the small businesses are wearing so many small hats, so you might not have the time or the resources to hire. With LinkedIn, it's constantly finding ways that are making it easier and the process overall easier. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Well. In the third iteration of UCLA versus Utah, the Bruins beat them down the second time. And then in the conference tournament, Utah had to play a game. They had to play back-to-back. UCLA got the day off with the bye, top four bye. 67-57 dub. Beating the Utes, who have slowly fallen as the preseason darlings of the Pac-12, picked to finish ahead of UCLA. And then in the MGM Grand Garden Arena, UCLA dispatches them and wins. Alyssa Peely, 16 points, didn't shoot that well. Kennedy McQueen wasn't on fire. It wasn't like everything went red hot for Utah as it did in that home game. They had a lot of energy. Lauren Betts didn't play well in that game. Now what happened in this game for UCLA that led to victory? Well, Duga Leach was not missing. 3 of 4 from downtown, 17 points. Osborne showing like she's tournament Osborne. Kiki Rice, slow start, 13 points, 9 rebounds. Not like her to have 0 assists, but played a bunch of minutes. You had Lauren Betts, quiet, 8 points, 7 rebounds, but still was a presence. For whatever reason, the Utah game isn't always a big fit. Gabby Hawkes, 7 points. And now it's time for Corey Close to shorten the rotation, right? So when London Jones is hitting threes or whoever, the rotation's short. We're not going. This is as healthy as the team's going to be, right? They've already had one player out for the year, another player medically retire, bets in and out, everything in between, players miss for national team reasons that have cost this team dearly sometimes. The Bruins are ready. And now they get to play USC, who, depending on where you find them ranked, at USC might be ranked higher. The NCAA thinks differently with UCLA's top-heavy wins this year, and with most of their losses coming without a fully healthy squad, generally speaking. The Bruins are going to play USC and Juju Watkins, probably for the third and final time, barring an epic late-season March Madness clash in an Elite Eight or a Final Four, depending how the bracket goes. The Bruins and USC, that is one for crosstown supremacy. That's for recruiting, because Lindsey Gottlieb proved that when she got Juju, she can go get the best player, pluck them into her program, and immediately top 10 team. Immediately. From maybe tournament team to top 10 team they're going to host for the first time in quite some time, I think since the 90s. That's how good she's been as head coach for the Trojans. Now, Corey Close has repeatedly brought in big-time recruits and talent, and now has Osborne sticking around. You have the leader, Cameron Brown. You mix in the sophomores. Everything with the transfer of Lauren Betts is all working together. So after that early win, UCLA and SC, that in my mind, that's for a 1 seed in the tournament. You either get a 2 seed, and if the NCAA really wants to screw you, you can get thrown in the South Carolina bracket as the 2 seed or early, right? If USC loses this game in the semis, the NCAA might screw them and put them in that bracket over there. They shouldn't be, but they might. If you're UCLA, you don't want to get screwed. You don't have to play them in the Sweet 16 or anything else. You have to make sure you win. They're deserving of a 1 seed nonetheless, but a win with this game, another top 5, top 10 win, and their only loss would be against a top 10 team on the road if they lose or on a neutral site to Stanford. If they can win that game, get the Betts Brink battle we've all been waiting for, you get 1, maybe 2 more top 10 wins, you're ready for the tournament, and they're ready for a 1 seed. I think 1 more victory for either UCLA or that other team across town should earn them a top 4 seed. Absolutely. A number 1 seed for the winner of this UCLA SC game. If not, as long as you avoid the South Carolina region, as long as you do that, I think any of the other 1 seeds are beatable. But you don't want to go and play Stanford too early, especially if you're UCLA. You want to keep Stanford away because you will most likely, if they can beat USC, play them really quickly or shortly after playing them in the tournament, despite a week off prior to the NCAA tournament. So a 1 seed guarantees either a team that is beatable or they've already beaten is within their bracket and ready to go after. That is what is important by winning this USC game, which is, in my mind, more important than the Pac-12 tournament championship. You beat USC, you get the rivalry and everything, you get the last laugh for now, and then you get prepared for the NCAA tournament with what I believe is a well-rounded resume for a 1 seed, and the NCAA in their second tournament reveal already proved that they believe that to be the case. Seal it up with a win, a 2-1 showing the Pac-12 tournament, and then go win out in the NCAA tournament, make your first NCAA Final Four run as a program in the women's basketball NCAA era. Ready to go. Ready to go. Go beat Juju and USC and go beat them. Have her shoot 7 for 50. for goodness sake, and go beat them down. Go make it happen. Come on, Bruins. Earn your 1 seed like they've been dominant all year long. All right? And on that note, I'm signing off. We're going to talk more basketball because it's March. A lot of women's hoops, all the football developments here on Locked On UCLA. So subscribe. Thanks for your support. Get your hands up, Bruins fans. It's a clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA. Fight, fight, fight. This has been Locked On UCLA. Zach signing off. Go Bruins.